Hey everyone, it's Mark, and I was out here scootering to the gym this morning, and I just saw this, and I had to take a video of it. So, boom, look at that. So it's really cool here. In the mornings, the water is super still. It's like glass, right? And I don't know if you can see way out there, there's a break where the waves are. That's actually almost as far as you can go. You can walk. We have the longest continuous reef in the islands. It's like 23 miles long, and it goes out like a mile or half a mile or something. It goes really far out, and sometimes you'll see people when it's low tide, which is kind of low right now. People walk out really far, and actually, can you see over there? There's like some rocks and things. Right. Where's my finger? Oh, there it is. Right over here. If you look right close to where the plants are there's some rocks and stuff. That's actually part of a fish pond wall, and those rocks are just on the ground. So the water is like ankle deep over there. So it goes out pretty far, and you see people out there spearfishing and stuff, which is pretty cool. It's beautiful. Look at that. There's no one here. Hey everybody, how's it going? It is July 13th. It's like 10:43 in the morning, on 2016 Wednesday, and hope you're all doing great today. It is beautiful today. Look at that. It's fantastic. Let me see if you can see that blue sky back there. It's amazing, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about today. Actually, it's funny because as I'm going around during my day, I come up with countless ideas of things I want to talk about. Like, oh, that'd be a really good topic, or oh wow, that's really interesting. I have some ideas about that I'd like to talk about, and just get out of my head, right? Which is kind of what the purpose of this channel is about. The Morandom topics. It's just me randomly thinking of stuff. So, but then when it comes time to actually record, I can't remember anything. And I actually have a little on my notes app. I write down all the random topics I come up with. But then when it's time to actually record this, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, it's not interesting. Yeah, it's boring. So, but today I thought I'd talk about that first area of my life that I mentioned in those 5 areas of my life video, which I'll link to in the description below the video. But I talked about work and what my work is and what I do for my work. And most of you, I think, probably know that I do web design. I'm a web designer. My focus, now, here's the problem. Web designer is a very vague term. It actually isn't very specific at all. A web designer could be a lot of different things, depending on who you ask and what their definition of web design is. I tend to be more on the visual UI design side of things. Defining it's kind of tricky. Actually, I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this whole YouTube thing, because the reality is, I was listening to this podcast earlier today. This is sort of related to work, so bear with me. I was listening to this podcast earlier today, and the person was being interviewed talking about this YouTube channel that they built up to like several 100,000 subscribers, and then they turned that into a six-figure generating revenue. And their primary business is they teach English to non-English speakers. They have a course online that you can do, and they also do a lot of videos teaching people how to do it, how to learn English, or teaching people English, little short videos about that. And language learning is a whole different topic we'll get into another time. But so I was listening to this and thinking about, okay, so YouTube channels, now the purpose of this channel, the Morandom Topics, has never been about, I'm not interested in generating revenue, never been, like as if I've been doing this for years. I've been doing it for like 5-6 days, right? So, but this is not a revenue generating idea. I'm not doing this to get a lot of followers and monetize that into like a product and a course and make a lot of money doing that kind of thing. This is just me ranting, basically, talking about random things that come into my head. So the reality is, if you want to make money doing YouTube videos or doing something like that online, you have to be very specific in what you're approaching. Specificity and excellence in that, and creating high value information or products, is what generates revenue. Basically solving problems for people. I mentioned this yesterday, but you solve a problem for people you're able to make money solving problems for people. All businesses are problem-solving businesses. If your problem is you have a stopped-up toilet, well, plumber is solving that problem. I need a place to sit. Well, furniture maker, they're solving that problem. I need a way to reach a lot of customers. Google search solves that problem. You know, there's all these, everything is solving some problem for someone else, and that person values that resolution enough to pay money for it. That's essentially what it comes down to. I'm a web designer. People need a website to market their business, so I solve that problem for them, right? So, but a YouTube channel, the only way you could really, for me, I feel like the most effective thing you could do with a YouTube channel is to really solve a problem. Maybe the problem is I need to be entertained, I need to laugh. Well, comedy, entertainment, life blogging, vlogging, that kind of thing, that could solve a problem for some people. I think the monetization of a personal brand blog or vlog is kind of not very effective. So for me, it would be find the problem that the person has and then create a topic or a show or a product around that problem that you're solving for people, and maybe in a unique way, or maybe in the same old way, but you do it really well. So that's why this channel would never really be a monetization of anything, because I'm not really talking about anything specific here. I'm just talking about more random topics. This is random, completely random. Can't you tell? So I was thinking about, okay, well, if I was going to do a YouTube channel related to my business, what would it be? And I realized actually there's a lot of things I could do. And I've had this thought before, is creating a YouTube channel that talks specifically about all the questions I get from all my clients about building a website. What is SEO? Why is the design important? What's above the fold? Why is that important? Why are sliders not good anymore? How do I integrate social media? How do I analyze my website's traffic? Why is WordPress a good thing to use or not a good thing to use versus Drupal versus Joomla? All these things. All these questions I get every day from different clients or different prospective clients. And it would be great to have one place where I just have all the answers to all the questions that anyone could possibly ask in like video format, right? So that was my thought. It's like, that would be a really good idea to make a YouTube channel specifically geared to answer all the questions all my clients have. And I was thinking, well, that's just a really smart thing to do anyway. I remember hearing about this. This is a really well-known story, I think. There was some plumber in the Midwest, or what did they do? They did something about installing pools, maybe? I think they installed pools. And what they did is they created a blog, and it might have been a vlog, but it was a blog for sure, where they answered every conceivable question anyone could ever ask about the process of pool installation. So when you're calling someone and you want to know more about how to install a pool, this person, they created a blog with videos and information, pictures, all this stuff that went through the entire process. So any question you could ever possibly have, you could go to the website and get the answer to that question for free. As a result, they were able to get a lot of customers because the customers really valued that information, that level of detail and expertise. And so when they wanted to get a pool installed, they went straight to them. And so as a result, their marketing, they almost had no cold calling. They didn't have to cold call anyone. All their leads were warm leads. Lead is like when somebody's interested in your product, right? And you have a lead to possibly talk to them. And it's not a cold lead where you're just calling up randomly. Someone randomly calls you up and says, "What's a pool?" or something. But it's a warm lead where they really are interested in what you have to offer. So I was thinking, oh, that'd be really good for web design. I should make a channel where I just talk and give answers to all the questions everyone ever asks. Odds are, if you're a friend of mine, you've probably asked me something about web design at one point or another. And so I was thinking, wow, I should just really start to do that. So I might do that at some point. Just even once a week, post a video up twice a week, where I just answer a question about web design or websites or online marketing or something like that. I think that'd be really helpful to people. And also it would be helpful to me because I wouldn't have to answer these questions all the time. And I was thinking, well, it's not just work. I could do that with other things too. Anything that you have an interest in, and even a modicum of expertise, or you're working on developing your expertise in something, you can create a channel by which people can learn more about that. I used to have a Wushu podcast. It was like 10 episodes worth of a Wushu podcast. But I found that really fun and interesting. And I got to answer a lot of questions that people have about Wushu, got to interview Wushu people, and I felt like that was really helpful and interesting. I wish more people would do Wushu podcasts. I would listen to them all the time. But so anything like that, Wushu related videos where you answer people's questions about technique or about things. And I had a great idea when I was in China about working with athletes there to do a YouTube channel where they answer questions from people outside of China about things. And I did this sort of like a test of this once. I was talking with Yang Yuhong, who is a member of the Shanghai Wushu team. He's a good friend of mine. Known him for like, I don't know, 11 years now. Used to train with him in Shanghai. But we were in Gansu province about 2 years ago at a competition, and we had some time to kill. And so I sent out a message on my email list and said, hey, if anyone has a question they want to ask of a professional Chinese Wushu athlete, Yang Yuhong, send it to me and I will ask him, and we'll videotape the answers and put them up. So we did that, and one of the questions was, what is the 5 most important strength training exercises for Wushu athletes, or something like that. And we did that, and I asked him. He answered the question. You know, he has certain exercises that he recommends for Wushu athletes, certain things he doesn't recommend. We posted that up, got a crazy amount of views. A lot of people really like that video. Or another question was like, how does he choreograph a form? How does he come up with choreography for his forms? And that did pretty well as well. So I think finding expertise, you don't have to be an expert at something, but you can find experts in something, ask them the questions that everyone has about that thing, and collect the answers and provide them for people. So I had an idea for a Wushu one, and I would just go train at different places and talk to the athletes and get their input and information, find out what the day in the life of the athlete is like, find out their training regiment, go and like talk to the facilities person. How do you get the carpets? Where do you get the carpets? How about shoes? What about the weapons? All this different stuff that you can ask people about Wushu. And that would have been a cool idea, but didn't happen. I think partially because of the language barrier issue. My Chinese is conversational, but it's hardly fluent, so I can get around on my own okay, and I can talk to people and whatever I need to do, but it's not to the point where I could talk deep topics on things. Actually, all my languages are like that. The Japanese, Chinese, they're like conversational. I speak a little Spanish too. Oh, that reminds me. So this is interesting. About 2 years ago, I was doing this kind of intensive 2-month Spanish language acquisition project where every day I would just study as much Spanish as I could and practice it a lot. And for some reason, I took a video, it was almost exactly 2 years ago this month actually, maybe this week, where I took a video of my 6-week, or maybe it was like the 3rd week I've been studying, 4th week, and I did a online Skype conversation with a tutor who was in Tijuana. I forget her name. But I'll link to it in the description. And I posted up this video of me practicing to talk to my first Skype conversation, so I wanted to record it to kind of see what how my levels would change. And I posted that video up. Since then, in the last 2 years, with no marketing and not even thinking about this video, I would always get these comments on this video. For some reason, it has like 65,000 views. It's ridiculous. I have no idea why, because I did other Spanish language videos. I did a 2-week Spanish language video. I did a 1-month Spanish language video. And for some reason, that Skype conversation one just went crazy. And I did nothing to warrant that. It's not that fascinating of a video. My Spanish was horrible, still is. But for some reason, that video really took off, which I always thought was really fascinating. Like, why did that one do it? Maybe it was the combination of words in there, Spanish learning, Skype, italki, tutor, something. I don't know why, but for some reason, that one really took off. There's got to be like an algorithm or a formula in there that makes that happen that way. Anyway, back to the topic, the Morandom topic. So, thinking about YouTube, thinking about what I'm doing here and my work, I think YouTube could be really beneficial. And this applies to you too. So if you're doing something in your work that you answer a lot of the same questions, or you have ways of doing things that you think will be beneficial to people, record your thoughts on it. Put it up on YouTube. You know, see if it gets any traction, or share it with people through a blog if you have clients that you talk to all the time about certain things. For example, I was just thinking, my friend Jeanette, who might be watching this, hey Jay, She has a Wushu school up in Mount Vernon, Pacific Northwest Martial Arts Academy, which I was teaching at last month in June. I was teaching there for about 2 weeks as part of the Wushu boot camp. And I was thinking, wow, she could do this too. She could create a video where she answers the most common questions people have about her school, like what do you guys teach, or do you teach Shaolin style, or do you, the random questions people have who don't know anything about Wushu, like is this Kung Fu, or how is this different than Karate, or is this Taekwondo, or where is China near Korea, or how's that work, that kind of thing. So you can just answer really simple questions that people ask all the time. When they come in your door, what are the questions they always ask? And then take those questions, make an answer on the video, and stick that up online somewhere. And I'm thinking I might start recommending that to a lot of my clients. I'm doing a website for a physical therapist in Oahu right now, Moon Physical Therapy, moonpt.com. It's the old website now, but I'm making a new website. And one of the things I'm going to recommend is that they create videos that answer very specific questions. And we're sort of gearing the website in that direction to help people find very specific information. But I think that would be really helpful. Like, what's the question someone has? Make a video answering that question, post it up on the website and your social media channels. Simple. Anyway, I ranted on this one long enough. I had some other things I wanted to talk about. I always have things I want to talk. Like I said, I ramble. But anyway, YouTube. Very fascinating. How long is this? 15 minutes. Good Lord. I gotta stop talking so long. So, anyway, food for thought. YouTube is very interesting, but it's only interesting and as much as you can provide value to the people who watch your stuff. So, this is obviously not providing value to anyone but myself, unless you got some great ideas out of this. But eventually, I think I'm going to transition and also start working on videos for my work. Maybe for Wushu related stuff, answering questions like I did 2 days ago with that question from Kanishka from Afghanistan. He wrote me back, he really appreciated it, so you're welcome. And we're answering questions about like how I'm learning guitar, or what it's like to live in Hawaii. Look, I live in a nice bamboo studio, like the beach is like right there. It's here, look over here. It's like tropical and beautiful. So, I guess the long story short is, look, there's a hammock right here. You can just lie in the hammock and hang out here all day, which I don't really do, but you could. Anyway, so yeah, this isn't meant to be helpful to anyone but myself, but I think I might at some point put some energy into that. Okay, I'm rambling again. And I think this is enough for today. Hope everyone has a great day. Wednesday, it's hump day. For me, it's I'm doing this nutrition protocol, which I'll talk more about in another video. But it gives me a day of the week where I can kind of eat more of what I want to eat versus what I should eat. So that day is Saturday. Saturday is going to be awesome. But today's Wednesday, so I got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 3 more days, 2.5 days, and then I can go eat some Pop-Tarts or something. But until then, hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves and keep on keeping on.